of 35. So if we draw a circle out here, I'll just start with a circle. We'll just put the circle with the right diameter here. 35 times 2 would give you 70. So enter in 70. And we need to enter in, now we just need to locate it. If you look here, okay, the center of our radius is 3 away from this face, and it's 30 down. So I'll use the dimensions to push that. That's 30. And then 3 off of this face. And now we can just do some trimming here. So we'll trim it. We'll trim it so that we leave this section here. What about it? It's whatever you see over here applies over here. Whatever you see on these two views, because it's the part is symmetrical. So just trim the pieces. So that gives you, see, it's starting to take its form now, right? We need to put this little angle here. So we'll just come up here, and I mean, there's different ways to do this. I usually, being an AutoCAD person, so if this is 90 and this is 7 in here, and that's going to leave you with 83. So this should be 83. Oh, it does, doesn't it? Why did I get 7? Okay, 75. If it's not locked in, yeah, true. Yeah. Well, this is my old AutoCAD geometric construction here. That it's sometimes it overlaps. Hey, I don't make the claim that I'm drawing this the most efficiently that it can possibly be drawn. Exactly. It's all about getting. There's a infinite number of ways you could probably. I don't know about infinite, but there's lots of different ways. But yeah, usually I'll undo this. Here's why I don't always do that, is because of the constraints. So if I put from here to here, see if it lets me do the 75. Yeah, just delete that one. It made it easier for me to select it. You have to undo that. Yeah, you have to turn the dimension off. But then that left this 27 this way. So you have to make sure. So you'll have to erase this because that line stayed 27. So you'll have to delete that, and then you'll have to go back up here and make sure it's 27. See, it changed so be aware of that. Beware of that. Philip, make sure that's 27. Not the line. The line's not 27. See, when you rotate that line stayed 27 long, and it drug that other line down. Do what? Probably the vertical constraint, and then you're going to need to make sure that the distance between those two horizontal lines is actually 27. That's a critical dimension. Well, yeah, it is. I'm going to call that. So, we can just make an extrusion now. And it's going to be 70 wide. It's going to be a symmetrical and 70. You can put that fillet in now if you want. It's 4. All of them are 4. Yeah. I recently saw like Inventor where they were giving tips on it, and they actually prefer the preferred way is to if it's something that you can add using the solid using the 3D solid features, like the fillet on that, they recommend using that as opposed to sketching radiuses. They just think that it makes a more of a stable drawing. But yeah, you can sketch it. It won't. I doubt in this case it would really hurt anything if you just sketched it. So now on this back face right here, I'll put a new sketch. And we'll sketch a circle here. The diameter of this one did I do 70? I think I did 70, didn't I? Do it whatever. I've got you guys have more of an updated drawing than I've got. I think it's okay. So this one is going to be okay. It's a radius of 17.5. So that one's going to be 35, a diameter of 35. And it's a distance from the bottom of, let's see, distance from bottom of 50. bottom of the part. It should end up 1 millimeter below that. And now we can do an extrude on this. Extrude a solid. We want to go that way with it. And as long as you go far enough to go into the part, as long as you make it inside the part, you went far enough. I prefer just to go ahead and give it a termination and go like up to face and then select the face. That way, if you ever move that face one way or the other, it'll be so that gives you that. So if I select this face, do a right click, we'll start a new sketch and we'll do the cutout on the bottom. Do normal, zoom up, and we'll just sketch the little profile on one side and then dimension it halfway, to the midpoint. Again, another handy use for starting out symmetrical. It will go through all. Yep. Hard to see. I can't see it. Something like that. And then down. I can't see them. And then we'll make dimensions over to this face. So this one's going to be 14 divided by 2. This one's going to be 25 divided by 2. If we're going halfway back, that takes care of the horizontals. And this one is going to be 30. And this, we know it's 5 wide. And the top, the groove starts at 10. So from here to here is going to be 10. And that should define it, right? It looks like that would define it. So we'll start our cut. And it's going to be a remove. It's going to go all the way through. You can mirror the geometry now, or you can mirror the feature after you do it. So that extrusion, we can do a mirror on that. So up here, select mirror, and we'll have to change it from a part mirror to a feature mirror, because this is just a feature. Select it, mirror, features to mirror, and select mirror 1. How come it won't? Mirror 1 did not regenerate properly. Select features to mirror. We'll try this. I might go back and, okay. So mirror, feature. Maybe it's too much headache here. I don't know why that. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to edit that. We'll do it this way. We'll go ahead and mirror this. So to mirror it, select the mirror line. That, select the entities. You could pick these one by one, but I'm just going to make a mirror, a box around all of them. And it'll give you a preview. And then we'll say OK. Now I have to go back and edit that feature and add that extra region in there. So that did it. Hmm? What? So I'll go ahead and I'll put the major hole in here. So I'll select this face, right click, new sketch, and we'll use the hole feature. And then instead of doing the 2 extrusions, I'll use the hole feature. And we'll do a project so that we get our point there. And then we'll use, we'll put a point on that face. I think I put a point there. We'll go back over here, we'll choose the hole feature. And then we'll, this time it's not a standard, this is going to be a custom. So it's not a simple hole, it doesn't go straight through. If you notice, there's 2 different diameters there. There's a 19 millimeter diameter that goes 20 deep, and then 16 goes through the part. So looking at this, you have a diameter of 19, that should say diameter, of 19, and then 16 goes through the part. your right view and your left view. Oops, okay. So we change our termination. Oh, change this to counter bore. And the termination will go through. And the standard is going to be custom. And the first thing they're showing is the diameter of your drilled hole that goes all the way through, and that's going to be 16. And then it shows you the diameter of the counter bore, which is going to be 19. And then the depth of your bore is going to be 20. And then select your sketch point. So it made this counterbore, it formed that counterboard hole with just one feature. Now you just have to put the holes on this face. Right click, new sketch. We'll put a couple of points down there, and then we'll just tell them where to go. With our constraints, first we want to make sure that they stay horizontal to each other. I think I just did. Okay, and we want to make them symmetrical about it just simplifies it to use the whole command. Instead of doing two things, you do it with one. But yeah, you could, if you were drawing this, there's no reason that you couldn't do that in two features. You could do your 19, you could do that in a blind extrusion, and then you could do a 16 through. Yeah, either way works. I'm just promoting the whole command, actually, and it shows you a different way of using the whole command than you've seen. Oh, okay. Now I'll turn this on. These are going to be 48 apart. Okay, here's another thing I'm going to do that's a little bit different. You know, you see me often make things, use the symmetry tool. You could use the symmetry to make these symmetrical, or you could, since you're using the dimension, you can just make a dimension from, you make your dimension to where, okay, this is the distance apart, and then you can make your dimension right here, and you can just enter in your other dimension like 48 and then divide that by 2. And we've got them the correct spacing. We have the correct spacing. We have it the correct location horizontally, which is going to be, 24 off the center line each way. Now we just need a vertical. And looking at your middle view there, the distance to that M6 hole is 31. And now we have our points located, so we can end the sketch and we can start the hole command. And this time we'll have to, since we used a counterbore last time, we're going to have to change this over to simple. And it's not going to be through. We're going to make them blind. And the standard it's going to be it's not custom anymore. So we'll have to switch that back to our ISO standard. And it's not going to be a clearance hole. It's going to be a tapped hole. And the size is going to be an M6. And the pitch of our tap, typically I use the coarsest one. When you're designing with fasteners, if you try to use the coarsest one, that'll work, especially if there's going to be a lot of them, because they're usually easier to tap correctly. Okay, so our thread depth, you got to make sure that your hole diameter, or excuse me, that your drill hole depth is deeper than your thread depth. So in other words, this value right here has to always be greater than the tap depth. So I'm going to change the tap depth. I'm going to make that 10, and I'm going to make the hole depth 15. So it doesn't go all the way through the part. And then don't forget to pick the holes. It gives you a little preview, and it doesn't look like they're going through. Merge scope, part 1. So those are the whole, that's what we'll put our little vise blocks on.
You want us to put both the parts in the folder?
Yes, all the vise parts should go in the vise folder. And then you can share that folder with me. I just want to see where everybody's at, where everybody is, how they're progressing right now. It's not being shared to grade. I mean, keep working on them, but I just need to be able to look at them. So there's only one more major feature to this, and that's the holes on the bottom here. How much time do we have? We'll just stop right there for this.